factors to consider while choosing a wedding venue location. Hi guys, Madrine is my name. I know some of you may be thinking, oh, this sounds familiar, as if she's talked about this before. No. I remember the previous episode, I talked about what to consider before you make a deposit on this particular location. But now, before you even reach the point of, depositing, what to consider for you to decide on or even start thinking about whether or not you should make this deposit. Number one, the distance. It's important that you choose a location that is favorable in terms of distance to both you and your guests. Imagine, you know how Uganda is and how funny it is when it comes to tribes. Sometimes if you, let's say, marrying a Mnyakole or marrying a Muganda, put into consideration where are my guests going to come from. You get, should we do the reception at let's say in Berar or in Kampala? Having put your guests, status into consideration, it will help you have a successful event, because nobody wants to do a wedding that is going to flop. And also, by putting your guests, demographics into consideration, also strongly emphasize on the status, financial status. Some of us want to do destination weddings where our guests probably can pay for their own tickets, can come and stay around probably the same hotel for some time, but can they afford? If not, then think of a situation or a moment that is going to be favorable for them. But if they can, why not? So it is important to think about your guests, because at the end of the day, the only reason you're doing the reception is to please them, is to give them a treat, is to celebrate with them, not just for you as a couple. Now, that should be number one. Number two, it should be about you and the groom. How far is church you get from the reception? It's not really advisable for you to have a reception that is very far from church, because one, you're going to delay the reception from starting because you have to travel across. Number two, the guests will also have to take the same trip. So it's a matter of jam and delays, and you may end up having, an extended event. Those weddings where people are still giving speeches and people are leaving. You don't want to have that one. So it's important that you get one where they are so close to each other. That is church and venue. Number three, it's also important for you to choose a venue that falls into your dreams. Sometimes we have people around us who keep telling us, this will work for you, choose this one is better. But is it what you really want? If you wanted a location that is by the waters, look for one. Even though it's not a natural water body, it can be an artificial one. We have so many options around. As long as it falls within your dreams, as long as it falls within what you have always envisioned as a couple, do not compromise about specific things unless you really can't afford it or your dream is really unrealistic. But if it is, stick to it, you will achieve it. And lastly, you need to consider the type of guests that you have. Of course, when you have guests that cannot afford, traveling longer distances, it's important that you consider areas that are close by. If you have guests who can drive, maybe you can pick any other space that you want. If you have guests who can afford a vacation, it's okay, you can do destination wedding. But if you know your guests are going to be compromised in terms of cost, in terms of, availability, in terms of all these things, it's important that you select a venue that is favorable, not just for them, but for you as well and the entire family. I hope that helps.